and then how quickly. And there's no risk in posting crap videos like that. There's no risk. Like the numbers in the tests that Chris and I have done over the last 2 years on our own channel show that all it does is drive subscriber growth.
Yeah,
hands down. I can say the most, like, as long as I'm on the extremes. If I say it's a good game, nobody gives a shit.
I saw today. Yeah. I saw videos today saying Google caves and goes free to play. They said at their launch they were going to go that that if you paid you got to get in now, and then it was going to be free for everybody in February. They didn't cave. They're sticking to the plan. This is the original plan.
But that's how it gets the mad economy all like riled up, like, you know, like who don't pay attention, and they're like, yes, it has failed. It's like Google,
it was promised to be free in February.
Yeah. Is it actually free now?
Oh, well, not now. It's probably months away, and that's actually the problem. It's not free soon enough is the real problem with Stadia, because
Brian, are you on TemTem?
I'm trying to be right now. It's loading the game. It had to do an update. So I rebooted my Shadow, and I'm going to come in. And if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to play something.
I believe I'm live. In Shadow.
He
I've been playing on Shadow. It's been good enough for that. I believe I'm live.
I'm getting more frames per second, and now it's just dipping on down. Dip to dip.
They did this. So Brian, if you want to remember, if you want to be optimistic here, the last time we had these issues with Shadow was when they made all those major pushes into the infrastructure on North America.
They teased it. They teased it in the last update.
Maybe this is the next huge round of updates, and maybe we'll find.
That'd be great, and I could actually get all that hard drive space. But I also have GeForce now to compete, and I've got like.
Oh wait!
And when Amazon like steps up and like drops a bomb, like I don't know, man. Like it's so. Did y'all watch the Layman Gaming video talking about how Nintendo and Sony are. They messed up.
Wait, you're Brian.
Well, hopefully my Shadow ends up working
Brian,
pretty soon again.
You could just play. You could just play TemTem on GeForce now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I thought they added it to GeForce.
Mine did great. Professor, you're first this time. I was streaming a little earlier, and then my stream had a hiccup. And
Killer Zero, welcome to the workforce.
I'm gonna wait on Brian to get online, and we're gonna do our weekly battle. We're gonna see what a week of me playing all the hours and him playing none of the hours does.
You're gonna see the difference.
Am I safe to assume here that you enjoy this game, Chris?
Oh, Chris and I love this game.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
We were jokingly like worked at TemTem. People are gonna get annoyed. I subbed to your channel just for Final Fantasy.
So I recorded 8 videos on TemTem today.
Oh yeah, nice.
That is a raw length of an hour and I don't know, 20 minutes, hour and a half, something like that.
Thanks so much for the 100 bits. Thanks, Mrs. Sticks. 100 biddies. All right, let me fire up GeForce now.
Oh,
I have never tried TemTem on GeForce now. But...
I'm gonna try it now because like this is just taking its sweet time.
Hey Leland.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Thank
I'm
you
ready and waiting.
All right,
for the skip.
All right, bye, Shadow.
What's
Get
that?
out of here, Shadow.
Thanks again for the skip, Leland. But I got 2.5 days of grinding to get that Gunbreaker 70.
Did you find that refund?
Ooh, that's fine.
While I'm waiting for Brian to fire up.
You're fine.
But thank you again.
It's supposed to be automated now. It's supposed to be automated.
You're welcome.
Did you find it?
I got it. I got it.
Right. Did it already refund?
You got it.
No, let me check my email.
All right, I'm taking off.
There's a literal link, and it says Warcraft 3. You change, and then you just press continue, and then it just hands it back to you.
There's a guy. There's a video that should go up. How to get your money back.
Refunded.
Perfect.
Let this be a lesson to you.
My question is, if you pre-ordered it and got them out in World of Warcraft, do you get to keep them out?
Do you keep them out?
No, you don't get to keep them out. But I haven't played and I don't know if I even got the mount, so.
And that's a nice looking mount.
It is.
Yeah, it has to install the game apparently on GeForce Now.
It's not working on that.
Undead characters felt obligated to buy Warcraft 3 even if they weren't going to play it back when they announced the amount.
It's not working on GeForce Now?
No, it's installing the game.
Oh, it's installing it. Oh.
I thought it was supposed to be like you just fire it up and it's you just authenticating and starting
Yeah,
install.
when it says the install's literally done in seconds. It's
Oh, you're right. I think that's right. Let me go to this.
yeah, like it's really quick. It's already stored on the server.
Okay, yeah, it says play now. Yeah, you're good. We're good. That's done.
Question, Brian.
Yo.
Did you get the pro version or are you playing on the free version?
Oh, I'm playing on pro, man. Like I really am impressed because every game that I can put either on Shadow, on Stadia, or on GeForce and get it off my hard drive, that makes it so much better for me as a content creator, because it's like my hard drive, and people are like, "Oh, do you really play those games?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually I do more now. Like with cloud gaming, I play way more games."
So what is on GeForce now, Brian?
There is a bit of a hiccup.
Okay.
There's a bit of a hiccup with GeForce Now. It plays a lot of the games, but if it's not supported,
it's not there. Yeah,
it's not there.
I wish.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm in, Chris. This is so much better.
Does that mean Blizzard games are not there?
Blizzard games are not there
since it's against their TOS?
Well, actually, they are there.
Oh, they are?
It's just, yeah, but if you stream it, you're gonna obviously get banned because of the policy.
All right, Chris, where are you at? Where are we doing our battle?
It's against TOS of Blizzard games to play from a streaming. I'm finishing up the battle.
You can actually tell if they support a game or not because they don't have like a thumbnail for the game.
Like, so then how do these Twitch players? How did Twitch get around it?
No. So they're against you playing on a cloud.
That's all.
You can stream the game. You cannot. The game cannot be played from a cloud. It has to be played on a physical PC.
Yeah. So I was actively violating terms while I was playing through Classic a little bit.
Yeah.
But they didn't seem to ban you, which is weird.
I think it's kind of like damage meters in 14. Yeah. I don't believe that they actively have
I'm hearing people
checking
are
IP
not
addresses
showing...
to see if you're playing from a server farm. I think they're looking for... I think they had issues with people using it to get around DRM and play with multiple clients of a game that they didn't own. I think they had people using it to spin up multiple things for bots so that it's harder to ban you because they can't... Blizzard does practice sometimes like hardware bans and stuff where it goes and it flags like MAC IDs and stuff like that, and so that gets a lot harder if you have unlimited server hardware. And then also if somebody says they're having a miserable game experience, now they're having to put their name on a game experience they don't control. So like there's a lot of reasons that a company would want to come out against being played from a cloud on an official standpoint. Actually enforcing it, on the other hand, I don't think Blizzard cares. I'm not saying I've never played on Shadow. I am saying that I strongly believe that Blizzard games would run just fine on Shadow.
we've seen all the I haven't seen DPS meters in a while on streams since that Yoshi P's last update.
I'm glad he was angry. He was not angry. He was really annoyed, wasn't he?
I strongly believe that Blizzard games would run absolutely fine on Shadow, if hypothetically I were to ever install one.
Why did Blizzard have to be like that, though? Why can't they just let people play the game how they want?
And I enjoy streaming from TemTem from Shadow because I didn't have to shut down any of the videos I'm editing. My computer can just be doing its thing.
Yep.
You can do the same thing on GeForce Now, technically, but you won't be able to edit on GeForce Now. That's the only one problem.
So my question is this. What games are now available on GeForce Now?
See, that's the biggest... They have quite a few, but that's the biggest problem that the app actually currently has. Because what I want to do... Because you can have games on Origin and on Steam and all that. I wish it would just let me authenticate my accounts, and then it tells me what games are supported that I own.
Yeah,
like they don't do that. You have to go and search, and they've got a giant list. And so I'm searching for like, oh, do I have this game? Do I have this game? And I found a few that I have, and I was like, great, that's awesome. But like I looked and the Anthem wasn't there. Maybe like as soon as it becomes there, I'm gonna be excited. But
as soon as Anthem comes to GeForce Now, I'm there. But until then, not happening.
Yeah, I got Anthem running on Shadow, but
how's TemTem running anyway on the GeForce?
It runs great. TemTem runs great on GeForce.
No drops.
Brian,
not yet. Yo,
I can tell you, Anthem used to be there.
Should be a ton of...
Oh yeah.
My understanding is, and Sparta's saying that it's most of your Steam library made it.
No, yeah, you said,
But Anthem was removed due to lack of interest.
yeah, that's what they do.
That's funny.
I think they should have like expiry dates on the games, like saying how long they think they're gonna keep it for how long they think the company wants it to be there.
I need to figure out how to do my settings because I do have these black bars on the side, and I don't
Do
know
you?
how to get
Oh,
rid of those.
you might need to like you put it on the max resolution.
But like that's controlled at the game level, right?
Oh well, you could show it on both sides, like the resolution level. You control it
I'm
on
just getting destroyed. I got nothing.
Have you made it
So,
into
yeah.
Fair Zone yet?
If Anthem's was taken
No, I
off there,
haven't. I haven't played
back,
since the last time we talked about it.
Oh,
I've got no
I thought
reason
you
to
played a
go.
little and just not over the weekend.
No, I haven't. I was out of town this weekend.
Yeah, I knew you hadn't played over the weekend. I just didn't know if you'd squeezed any in. All right, let's do ninjutsu. Just because it looks awesome.
Oh wow.
What's your resolution on TemTem though?
I'll have to check.
I play at like 1440, and then I stream at 1080p.
Oh, okay.
But
I was gonna
also
say-
I have a 5K monitor. I'm playing in a window display, so I have lots of real estate.
It's free real estate.
I lay on a massive 28-inch monitor. I don't have dual monitors, which I'm very jealous of people that do, but I make up for it with
A big monitor.
massive monitor.
I want to take out one of your guys. That's all I want.
Let me just-
I'm running
Yeah.
dual
All right, I'll leave him
27
out, even though he's overexerted.
I have tri monitors.
Oh,
Oh, dude, I'd love to get another monitor.
Well, so I have a 32. That I,
that was an unfortunate timing for a Switch.
Yeah.
so I have a 32.
Only I don't know. Do I have anybody?
Yeah, I have a 32, a 27, and then
Do you
my
have anybody
laptop
else?
screen,
Yeah,
which
you
is
have two more.
17.
No, I just have one more. I think.
Oh,
The laptop screen doesn't count.
Oh yeah, it does. It's still a screen.
Brian, you
Ultra
want to get
wide
rid
or
of the...
get the F out. Locke says. And I don't have ultra wide yet, but I'd like to get. Like I'd like to update my monitors, get them actually on some mounts off the desk, so I have a little bit more desk space to work with. Get a new drawing tablet. I got plans that I don't have money. I got plans.
We all have plans.
I got my butt kicked.
Having
we have till next Monday.
finances.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right,
The
let's see here.
funds.
Settings.
You match them up with your
video,
GeForce
ultra
Now.
Quality.
You match the settings on GeForce Now to your settings in the game.
How? Like it just tells me 1920 by 1200. I need 1920 by 1080. I don't seem to have that option. I do this one. That was nothing. All right.
So like, do you guys think that people should be getting into Anthem now, or you think they should at this point?
Hey.
This is the
Oh,
final
dude,
nail
I
in
would
the
say
coffin?
absolutely no. No, it's not the final nail. They're working on a complete overhaul. They
Yeah, but
announced
is that going to
today.
require a new purchase?
If it does, that would be the dumbest thing they could do in all history.
That definitely would be done.
You know, it's like no. Like if they want, oh,
One
we go.
of the
That's
sad
the
things I
resolution
missed.
one.
Because there's people that bought that game for $4 or whatever.
Oh yeah, people
months
bought
ago,
it, paid for
They
$4, and
took
it's fine.
Final Fantasy XIV off of GeForce.
Did they?
Huh.
When?
What do I need to do? Oh, why is this all zoomed in? Jeez.
When did they remove that? When did they remove Final Fantasy 15?
No, but like for Anthem, that's the thing that the post today doesn't even cover. It's like, why should you play? And if your stuff carries forward, if your coin and your progress and your javelins and all that, and you find the game for $5, then hell yeah, go get it. You know, like because who knows what the future's going to be. But they haven't answered that. So it's kind of like it's the same problem 14 ran into. 1.0, Yoshi P said, and you're good. Like you're going to be there. Your progress and your effort is not going to go to waste. And it didn't. And that was awesome. And so that was a reason why to keep playing in that space. And so that's what Anthem needs to recreate that. You know, like, hey, your stuff, your progress, your gear, if all of that goes with you, then yeah, like enjoy it for what it is, and then hope that they get it right the second time. I need to. Okay, so now it looks like I need to beat Tahani to prove my medal. Do I need to go do stuff before I do that, Chris? Like,
so you're gonna lose your skates when you're asked to board an airship. So don't board any more airships for the story.
Gotcha.
Other than that, go nuts.
Stay away from airships.
When it says it's time to go to the next island, do not get on that airship until you are positive that you are done with skates.
So, Sparta says, do you want it to be like 14 ARR, or do you want it to be like No Man's Sky? And that's the best question. Hey, Dragon Spheres.
No Man's Sky.
Personally, I want ARR as long as my progress carries forward. You know, just have it as a new client. You know, built however they need to do it, and go from there.
Means years of offline.
Yeah, and 14 was only offline for like, I think 10 months or 11. Like, I don't think it was a full year.
Felt like a long time.
Yeah. And then
but
I think that allows them to
at least
test it.
MMO,
But basically, what they're doing is it doesn't sound like they're advancing any story as a part of 1.0. So it's kind of like as long as they detail out like your stuff carries with you, and they state that, and they make sure that happens, then essentially 1.0 is what it is. And I guess technically they could keep it online, but what they have to do is it's got to be free for anybody who's owned the game. They just move it forward, and if they could drop it with crossplay, that would be so nice. What ability did I? Oh, I'm evolving. It's about time.
Which one's evolving?
Is this your mental one?
Yeah, Tental.
Yeah, that was about the right time.
Thank you.
So what do you think of your mental, Brian?
Yeah, Anthem is in EA Access, now already. So,
Brian, what do you think of your mental?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Swap to Bolt.
I mean, I love Anthem myself.
I like it. Like, I love the game. I'm right there with Leland.
I never got to play Anthem.
It's a phenomenal story. There's some things that I personally wish were different about it, but it's not something that I can't live without. For example, the whole party system, that way they have it set up, you require a party to go into free play, it requires it to go into dungeons, it requires you to do the missions. I would rather see it to where it's just a single player, and then you could, in the free play, like Destiny, you have a specific number of people who will come into a world, or you can group up and go into free play.
Papa Fuzz, welcome.
Those are the kind of things that I would like to see change.
The game. Go ahead.
Because as it is right now, if you don't have a full party, you can still solo it. So why not let us have the solo, or even be able to match up with our friends to do the missions, because it doesn't require somebody to help you anyways.
Yeah, crossplay would go a huge help in my mind. The pacing behind the multiplayer to the single player, like you go walk around and talk to people, back to multiplayer, that is so broken. That is so broken. Cool casual, hey. And so when you look at it, when you look at how they showed it, right? The presentation, it was very drop in, drop out. And when you go into free play and you're flying around, and right now they got all these things to do with the seasonal event, you're like, man, how cool would it be if I was able to go into a mission or go into a stronghold and they had all the content here? That would literally, that's I think what they were probably shooting for and really fell short on.
Yeah.
You know, Brian, Chris, there's a game that I would really love to see y'all two try out if you don't have it already. Is Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero.
I have watched a lot of Let's Plays of Subnautica. I have not played it. It's as soothing to watch as like a Kerbal Space Program or whatever, where like I don't really that's probably not the right game to draw. It's more like watching somebody play Ark Survival, like where I don't really know what's going on, but it's pretty.
It's a lot of fun.
It's so pretty.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dragon Sphere says they need to make sure Dragon Age 4 is amazing and turn around the tarnished reputation. And I would say before Dragon Age 4, they have to fix Anthem. Because Anthem then shows that they're willing to commit to it, as opposed to saying, like, let's say Dragon Age 4 is any kind of games as a service, then, like, why trust them? Why trust that it's going to be good? Why trust that even if they mess up, that they're going to stick with it? It's like, no, just fix it, you know? And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I think, but they can't talk. I think I saw Yang Ya, he, like, Anthem needs to start telling us what they're doing. I was like, no. Like, we don't trust them. Everything they say, that's just video content for you to go and just say, like, look at the lies they're spreading now. No.
Right.
The way that Anthem needs to show up is like, it's not like, hey guys, here's the things we're doing. It's like, no. Hey guys, here's the things we did. Go play it. You let us know what you think.
Yep.
Right.
All it is.
Patch
Like,
notes. Live in the morning. This is happening.
Yeah,
Yep.
go play it. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
This is
We added a raid. What?
Oh. Yeah. Like, don't tell me. And that's how they launched. And that's how they launched Apex. Like, it's just, you know.
Don't tell me what you're doing. Just do it.
Apex
Just
is
do it.
brilliant. Apex is brilliant. To keep something that big, that quiet, and then just be like, oh yeah, and here's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I built this. What? I didn't even know you could do that. Like, how did nobody find out? Like, how did this not get out of the bag?
I think they're further along than the blog post today kind of iterates, because they had already had planned out the season of Ice Tide and had that stuff like in public test like back in August, and and they might not be, but honestly I wouldn't be surprised if their vision isn't 2021 or beyond, and it's like, all right, cool, like, just do the work, what's needed, and
I'm okay with that. I'm okay waiting.
I think most players are. I think essentially what's the best, I mean, the challenge with it is that another game comes out. Let's say Godfall comes out and everybody's like, Anthem, what? Like, oh no, we're good. Like, there's a market to be filled with that sci-fi kind of looter type game.
Oh, snap. If you free 200 TEMs this week, you get 2 telomere hacks. Oh, man.
I can't move in that. That's good enough.
Telomere hacks.
Yeah, that modifies your HP SV. I've not found a renewable way to get the items that. So I know I just said like a bunch of letters, so it's possible that some of you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. So in your items, there are items called hacks. And so what hacks allow you to do, let's see if I can find, I don't know where it stores your hacks. Is it key items? I don't know. So what hacks allow you to do is on a TEM, you can modify your TV fairly easily. So when you fight certain TEMs, they have a TV yield. And so when you kill those TEMs, any TEM that got experience from that battle can gain TVs. They also gain TVs when they level. They can also gain TVs by feeding them fruit. You can also subtract TVs when you get fruit, should you have too many TVs in an area and you'd rather move them to somewhere else, because there is a cap on the total number of TVs you can have on a TEM. So like my Loweli here that's coming up on level cap, let's just do some quick math. 270, can't see what I'm doing here. So,
yeah, Anthem made far more than the last Jedi Dragon. It outsold.
So
it.
you got like roughly 300, 400, 500, 6, 7. So you're pushing 800 or so here, 800, 900 TVs. So at some point I'll stop gaining TVs because I'll have 1,000. And so if I want to say pull some out of defense and put them into attack, I can do that. But SVs is your genetic quality. So SVs is what you're born with. And you inherit it from your parents. You can't be better than either of your parents. You can either be the best of what your parents have, the worst of what your parents have, or the average of the two. And hacks allow you to modify SVs. So if you have somebody with, like, say, a 49 in an SV, and you're like, man, so close to a perfect 50, because SVs are always 1 out of 50, you can literally feed them SVs to just fix that. But getting SVs is hard, because otherwise people would just fix genetically their TEMs. And the weekly quest for this week is freeing 200 TEMs, and they will give you 2 HP hacks.
Wow.
So what are we playing tonight?
We're playing some TemTem.
I'm playing Anthem.
Anthem.
I don't know the total number, but it sold over. It was the 15th best-selling game of 2019.
Anthem did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's not counting any additional money. The community's been growing, and it's always funny when it's like I can tell when like I'm like, okay, it's good to know that they don't know what they're talking about, because it's not a game that we have yet to recommend. It's not a game that there's things that they have to hit before we recommend it. They haven't yet, but that hasn't stopped me from playing it.
Well,
fifth best. I was saying fifth. I saw a list. It was the 15th, but it could. I mean,
so I have 3 telomere hacks.
I don't know. I heard some rumors about Anthem that BioWare was going to pull a No Man's Sky on it.
Yeah, that's happening.
Or at least try to.
That's been happening since August of last year, and they confirmed it in a blog post. But I still have hard-hitting questions about it in that regards, because it's if they honestly do not confirm, they need to confirm our progress carries forward. Where there's no if there's no reason to play now, then no. But if it's like, hey, it's $5 and you can farm up all the coin and gear that you want to take it into the whatever the 2.0 is, then it could be, depending on how you value your time.
I mean, but here's the problem: is all those people that bought into the original.
How's that a problem?
You know?
I've gotten more hours. So we value games at $1 per hour of joy, and I put hundreds hours into Anthem.
Go lay down.
People get mad at these games as a service for not getting their value, but then they go off and buy God of War and rant and rave about it, and they only beat it once. And it's like,
I mean, I think a lot of companies are far too focused on games as a service.
Oh, that's where the money is.
That's my opinion.
No, your opinion.
I mean, I get that that's where the money's at, but
I mean, when you find out that, so what did God of War sell? 6 million copies?
No, I think it did like.
Go lay down.
Somebody look it up. Let's get some stats.
All right,
let's get some stats in here. Let's get some stats.
Copies of God of War. Let's assume everybody paid full price. 10 million copies. So 10 million times $60 a piece is $600 million. Okay. EA makes $1 billion a quarter in microtransactions across their catalog. So, to say that you want a piece of that pie, God of War will be defined as one of the greatest single-player games of the last decade. And that
for sure.
And that made just over half of what you can make every quarter off of a game as a service model. Re-releasing the same games every year.
I see the point. I see the point, and I see that they're in it to make money, and that's the bottom line.
Okay. Beyond that, though, the question becomes: as the new economies within the content creation come into play, is that how do they then take that and get that streamable? Because the God of War storied experience, and with Final Fantasy XIV story, it's a very personal experience. People like seeing the reaction that's after the fact. But, how do you take that and make that something that could be reoccurring? And what the answer seems to be is services like Game Pass and PlayStation Now and whatever the else people are doing is a way of keeping those games relevant longer for what they are, even as a single player. Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with the single player game. There's always going to be a market for single player games. I just find it funny when people are like, "Look, a single player game can sell." Yeah, nobody's down.
No, I love single player games.
Yeah,
like for the most part.
Go ahead.
For the most part, I play No Man's Sky as a single player game. Well, I don't like playing with other people in that one.
Right, No Man's Sky, but like Minecraft and all, like, and the big thing with all of that, beyond like the single player multiplayer, it's like the games that perform best are games that are not tied to one platform. And I think that's why I think Halo needs to come. Like, if they want Halo to start to reign in any chance as like a dominant shooter again, it has to go to all platforms like Call of Duty. Otherwise it's going to continue to be Call of Duty. And so Microsoft has to compete if they want that for Halo.
We'll see what the Call of Duty League does. Call of Duty.
I refused. I am definitely a fanboy. I will not buy an Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Do you own
because
a PC?
I do.
Well, I mean, welcome to the Xbox family.
Exactly. So I don't see a need to now.
You don't, because that's the best thing.
That I could buy on Xbox, I can get on my PC.
Yeah, and that's the best thing for the gaming community.
I will say, when it comes to first-person shooters, I like that consoles level the playing field.
I mean, I personally abhor Microsoft's customer service. I think it's crappy, because every time
have you met Square Enix's?
I have never had a problem out of Square Enix's customer support.
So I had a friend.
Never have to deal with them.
I had a friend who he lost his phone and it had his authenticator on it, and he spent multiple hours, multiple times, couldn't figure out how to get it off. Finally got a hold of him and said, "You know what? Don't take the authenticator off. Just help me cancel my subscription." And they canceled his subscription, and he has not come back because he's like, "No, it took me." He's like, because I had to call like during certain hours. He's like, I couldn't, like, with his work schedule and stuff. He goes, it took me a month to quit the game. I'm not gonna come back to a game that's gonna take me a month to quit.
Well, see, here's
and like,
the
I
thing,
can't blame him.
If you've got an authenticator, they tell you. They actually
tell you don't lose your phone. I don't think that was his intent.
Well, no, they tell you when you set up the authenticator that there is an emergency removal password to copy that password down.
I think he had it on a computer that had failed like a week before or something.
Take a screenshot of it, save it somewhere to like Google
Drive. I don't know why he didn't have it. I don't remember why he didn't have it, because I have his.
Everything important is on my secure clouds. Because it's like hell to the no, I am not,
But they're secure. But the point is, their community, their support is not there to support you. Like,
I'm wondering,
you're better off.
Actually, be perfectly honest.
Go ahead.
The several times that I've had to contact Square Enix customer support, and I actually talked to Square Enix North America, I have never had a problem with them. They were always super helpful. They got to the root of the problem, and they fixed my issue.
I've never had a good
it was always experience. I mean, maybe it wasn't in the time frame that was great for that.
I'm glad somebody's had a good experience. The people, like, you're the first person, because I've talked to other people about it that have actually said they've had a positive experience, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Same people who, like, when people tell me that they love New Game Plus, I'm like, that is awesome. I am glad somebody likes it.
I have not gone through New Game Plus. Is there any real reason to do it?
Did you play the story the first time?
Yes.
Have you forgotten any of it, or cherished those memories in a way you wish you could relive them? Then no.
No, but my girlfriend might have to. She boosts.
Then no. So like
he says that he's had a great experience with Square Enix services.
It doesn't grant.
I'm so happy.
It doesn't grant experience or anything like that. So like it's literally just there. Like, I skipped all the cutscenes, so I would love to go back and do it to kind of like learn the old lore.
Like,
the
why is my... I can't start... Everybody is breaking up really badly. Hold on one second.
I think that's on your end. I hear everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Give me 1 second. I'm going to restart Discord. Give me 1 second.
All right.
I've had
So I think-
good and bad experiences with the support actually. Like, I've had times where they've been really helpful, and then there's just times where they've not helped at all.
Do you know who has
I
the
guess that always
best
just depends
customer
on who you
support
get.
in the world?
Yeah.
Mrs.
I don't know.
Baird's Bread. It's a Texas chain, and so in college, Brian's brother and I lived together, and we had like our budget was calories per dollar. Like we were so broke.
Okay, there we go.
And we would work at like a soup kitchen on Saturdays and take like extra food home from it. And like we would, and on Mondays we would eat with the Lutheran church because the different churches around so the town where we went to college has more churches per capita than any other city in the United States, and so there's all these churches everywhere, and these churches all near campus will have lunch, and they're like, hey, if you'll listen to us pray and talk about God, we'll feed you lunch. And the college guy is like, yes, I'll be there. So on Mondays we were Lutheran, on Tuesdays we were Baptist, on Wednesdays we were Catholic, and you know, like really not too picky. It's like, no, whatever I need to be to hear you out and get some lasagna sounds great.
Oh no.
And so
Got knocked out.
we didn't really buy, so most of the time when we bought bread, we bought it from that like day old section. And so you'd get like old bread out of the bakery, or you'd get like a birthday cake with someone else's name on it, or like whatever they're just trying to dump for like $2. And every once in a while, one of us would have like too much money from something. Like we'd go home and one of our parents would give us like $40. And the iconic Texas brand of bread is Mrs. Baird's. And Brandon bought some Mrs. Baird's, and we were going to have sandwiches, and we were really excited because it's good bread. And we got home, and like literally opened the package, there was mold in it. Now this isn't super uncommon in Lubbock because Lubbock is really dry, and when it gets moisture, like the air doesn't store it very well, so your bread molds like the very next day. But like the store said, we're not going to take it back, and so Brandon's like, well, I'm going to call Mrs. Baird's. And like 2 rings, and like a person picks up, like just a straight up hello. And he's like, I have to have the wrong number. And they're like, no, this is Miss Baird's. How can I help you? And he's like, I've had a bad experience with your bread. And they're like, oh, tell me about it. So they said, we are so sorry to hear that. Here's how we're going to fix it. And so they overnighted us a coupon for free bread. So we went to the store and we got our free bread. And then 2 days later, we got a snail mail like envelope that said like, we'd love to hear about your experience with the new loaf, and did it get better, and like all that. And enclosed is 3 coupons for 3 more loaves of free bread. And it's like, so now at this point, they have given us, they've repaid us for the bread. And then I want to say there was like a straight, it was like a check or cash for the amount of a loaf. So like they paid us back, and we got 4 free loaves of bread. So we're already like, this is amazing. And so we're already telling everybody we know how we came into these like 4 free loaves of fantastic bread. And we're living high on the hog because it doesn't stay good that long in Lubbock. So you got to just eat it. So we're having sandwiches every meal. It's wonderful. Not just eating tuna straight from the can. And then like 2 days later, there's a knock on the door, and there's this guy in this Mrs. Baird like UPS style uniform. And we're like, can we help you? And he said, I'm here because you guys had a bad experience with Mrs. Baird's. And we said, no, we've had a great experience with Mrs. Baird's. Like, let us tell you about it. We are Mrs. Baird's evangelists now. And he goes, well, actually, if you come out with me, I'd like to help you select some bread. And so we said, what? And so we go outside, and I kid you not, there is a bread truck in front of our house. And he walks us through the different kinds of breads they have and lets us pick loaves off the bread truck before it makes it to the grocery store.
Wow. Oh my
So
god.
you got fresh bread?
So we came out like 7 loaves on top. And so like I think the other reason like I always think customer service sucks is because like I have never had Square Enix pull up in a game truck and let me pull a game off the back, fresh off the presses.
That'd be amazing. But yeah.
I mean,
Mrs. Baird's, man.
I'm always I've like there are certain companies that I've had really good experiences with, and there are certain companies I've had really terrible experiences with.
Yeah.
When I've had to call Microsoft customer support, oh my god.
See, I've
It's
never
bad
had
enough.
I've never had bad experiences with Microsoft.
I'm a Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft
not
developer. I always.
I'm not a racist by any means of the word, but when I cannot understand who I'm speaking to, and I ask to speak to somebody I can understand, you know, so that at least I can try to resolve my issue.
Yeah.
And nothing happens. At that point, I asked to speak to a manager, and they just hung up.
Oh, that sucks.
And I'm like, really? I'm calling you because I'm having an issue with one of your products.
Do you know that in places like Puerto Rico, it can be considered in some communities like a really great job, like worth aspiring to work in a call center, and like here in the U.S., in most parts of the U.S., it's considered like what went wrong in your life if you're having to work in a call center, and like that's a core difference with the attitude of the employees there. Like you go to work and like when you get home, you're like you go to a party and somebody's like, hey, what do you do? And you're like, I work in a call center, and you like it. You like talking to people. You're proud of the product you support. You're like, this is awesome. Like, and everybody rolls their eyes at you. They're like, ugh. Like, I don't know. Like I think exporting call centers, to play devil's advocate there, is entirely our fault as a society for crapping on call centers.
I mean, every time I've had to call, you know, Square Enix or Sony customer support, I get some guy in Georgia.
Oh my god! Every time I call a call center, I always get a Scottish person because I'm where I'm from.
That's
It's
cool.
like, what?
That's gotta be
What
a
did you
fun
say?
conversation.
That's cool. That's cool, man. I love this with the
I
Scottish
worked
person.
in one.
I
worked in one for a brief time, and it
fun.
was not nearly.
The accent's great.
It is, but yeah.
People would call and
has
already
really
be
good
hostile.
customer support is Games Workshop.
I would call just to hear the
Workshop, yeah.
There's some
Games
people-
Workshop does have good customer support.
Their customer support.
Why am I just
is
imagining
phenomenal.
like Chris like complaining about a game and Square Enix just pull up in a truck?
So
That's what like Dragon says. From now on, I demand Square pull up with a truck full of figurines.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
go.
pick a
You know,
pick a figurine.
Pick a figurine. Let's do this thing.
Pick any figurine.
So Games Workshop does have good customer support. We had a store say like, hey, if you buy over this much, you'll get this discount. And so we all pooled our money, and one of the guys went to go pick it up. And so he paid for the whole thing. We were all going to pay him back. And his daughter opened up one of the boxes. Games Workshop is who makes a bunch of toy figurines for Warhammer and stuff like that, for anybody that doesn't know.
Oh, yes.
And she took one of the sprues out of the one she thought that looked the coolest, and so it was out of my brother's, and so he got his and literally sent them an email. Like, there was no shrink wrap on it because she pulled the shrink wrap off all of them, and he's like, hey, I got it, my friend's daughter pulled the shrink wrap off and the sprue's missing, and they just like sent him like a whole box, and it had like that sprue in it and a bunch of other sprue in it, and they were like, we're so sorry. And then his buddy's like, hey, I found this in my daughter's room, here's that thing you're missing. Nice. So he just has like bonus figurines.
Yeah, that's nice. They could have handled that worse.
We'll wrap up in your blanket.
I ended up getting a model from the Forge World site, which is part of GW.
Right.
And there were a couple parts that they duplicated so it wouldn't fit together properly. So I took a picture of them, and like 3 days later, I got an entire replacement for like a $300 model.
They had my brother turn in pictures, and they like tracked his email and the card that it was bought on.
Terrain bits.
I guess to keep you from doing it, but as soon as they had documentation to make sure you weren't doing it over and over, they were like, good enough, nobody's gonna lie to us more than once.
Right.
Okay. So if you're gonna make a claim, make sure it's a good one.
But like the one I got, I haven't put together for like 2 years, and then I went to go put it together, and I'm like, hey, here's the the number off of it and all this other stuff, and took pictures and sent it to them, and they had no problems with it. Like, okay, we'll send you a new one.
Good on Games Workshop.
That trainer kicked my butt. I gotta grind a little bit.
I'm gonna tell
they're entirely UK based.
Going into a Games Workshop.
Yeah. There's one in Tennessee.
There's so They're so like nice there. Like,
Yeah, there's a warehouse in
So
Tennessee.
Tennessee's the distribution center that receives all North American orders, and then it breaks out. Their headquarters, when they had a North American branch, was based in Maryland, and they actually had the ability to print some back then at that location. And that
They're actually
location now,
looking to-
if you're ever in Annapolis, Maryland, and you want to go there, there is a store in its place run by the people who used to be the Games Workshop employees, and it is like the largest Warhammer store you'd ever go into. It's absolutely huge. It has like painting booths and all this.
Well,
It's
didn't they just
awesome.
make? They just made the one in Texas.
It's like I never
Yeah,
really
in
got into
Frisco.
Warhammer.
did they ever have like game nights in your guys' ones? Like, they have game nights in my game workshop that I go to.
So I live
Yeah.
pretty close to the actual Games Workshop Citadel, or the cafe that they were proud to
Oh,
open in the
dude.
U.S.
So bad.
And it's not as good as what the community has built in the absence from when they shut all the Games Workshop stores down.
I still want to go.
Well, it's
Hey,
here.
Nylan.
They actually missed the grand opening. The store wasn't done in time, so they hosted
no.
an impromptu event at a local hotel for that weekend, because like they'd already like said it was the grand opening weekend. So like people came in from all around, and they're like, oh well, we have to have something. And so they had like they had like Forge World you could buy, and there was like this model that was like the model that you were supposed to be able to buy there that was limited time was being sold at that. And so they ended up having like 2 grand openings for it because they screwed up and got the date wrong.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
At least he did it again.
yeah. When in doubt.
I mean,
Games
like
Workshop,
like
man.
occasionally, like once every so often, you'll
They
find a
gouge you on
company
the
that
price of
restores
plastic.
your faith in humanity.
They
Yeah.
gouge you on the price of plastic, and they have no idea what they're doing when it comes to balancing sometimes. But
Yeah.
they sure are trying to make you happy.
Wait, do you guys had any bad experience in game shops? Like, what is it, GameStop or something? Or...
Oh yeah.
I worked for
I
GameStop
I can't
in
say
college.
myself that I've had a
College.
bad experience at a GameStop. I mean, I've had a bad experience at places like Best Buy,
Best Buy?
but
What-
but it wasn't game related. It was like I had called them. I had called a local Best Buy to
Mhm.
figure out if they had something, and I pretty well knew that this person was lying to me, right?
Yeah, you get that feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I explained what I was looking for, and I'm like, well, do you have it? And they went to look, and it took them entirely too short of a time to actually go and look.
It's like, hold on, let me check. No, we don't have it.
Comes out
Like-
licking wing sauce off their fingers.
He's-
Yeah, definitely
It was
out.
just too quick.
It's like, so you know what I did is I went in to that location like 20 minutes later and
Yeah.
actually found what I was looking for myself. And I went up to the customer service desk. I said, I don't know who I talked to about 20 minutes ago, but they had very poor customer service skills. You know, I called to ask if you guys had this, and they said you didn't, when obviously you do.
So they have terrible logistics managed. So I worked for Games Workshop or GameStop in college in loss prevention at their corporate location in Grapevine.
Mhm.
And so you oversee all 3,300 stores or whatever nationwide, and
Probably half that now.
and it was in one big building, and like a third of the building is corporate, and the other 2/3 of the building is the distribution center for the entire United States. So it's just stacks and stacks and stacks of like, imagine all the pictures you see when you look at like an Amazon distribution center. So there's these like conveyor belts, and like basically this little like luggage bin goes down it, and it stops in front of each station, and it tells the person in front of that station how many items from which bin go in there, and then it's weighing it at the end of each row for quality assurance, and then that gets put in a box, and that fills an order to either be shipped to a store or shipped to a person. And so like it's all really well automated. But the problem with that is that means that you have to have enough of an item that you can justify stocking it for all 3,300 stores. It doesn't really parse down further than that. Like that's the scale it operates at. So you can't just stock an item for some of the US or not, right? And so what that means is that above all this, there's this area called the stacks. And in the stacks, you have all the items that there's not enough of to say that they still have. but there's too many of to throw away. And so there are literally like rows and rows of like Halo 2 collector editions and like Halo 1 collector editions, and the website says they're sold out, and there can be anywhere between 2 and 100 of them just sitting up there. And like if Games Workshop ever if GameStop ever goes out of business, I don't even know what happens to that stuff. It just gets sold off at some auction block as one big mass set of all these like shrink wrapped, perfect conditioned, archived games and consoles and all sorts of stuff. So when Brian and I ordered our Scorpio Edition Xboxes, or Xbox One X's,
I remember this.
My credit card information got compromised or whatever. My bank's like, we believe some cards may have been compromised, so we've sent a new card instead. And it's like, all right, thank you. I had forgotten that I had pre-ordered my Xbox on that card, and they don't bill you until like right before it ships. So you pre-order it, maybe it takes a small charge or whatever, but the bulk of the cost of the console doesn't get charged until right up against that date. So GameStop sent me like an email, which got flagged as spam because my email's like, that's from GameStop, you don't want it. And it said like, hey, you have like 24 hours to correct your payment information or your order will be canceled. And then it canceled my order, and I had no idea. So Brian showed up, and I was like, well, that's weird. Well, maybe it's like the next day. Like sometimes post is off by a day or two. Like it's no big deal. And so like a day or two went by, and I still didn't have my Xbox, and he had his. So I called, and they're like, oh yeah, yours got canceled. And I was like, no, I need that. And so I was like, well, I expect a Scorpio edition. And they're like, well, no, we're sold out of Scorpio editions. And it's like, well, no, you're not, because you've been holding mine. So, like, I'm not asking to buy a Scorpio, I'm asking to buy my Scorpio. Like, and they're like, well, no, we sold it to somebody else. And it's like, no, to do that, you would have had to know that I was not going to pay for it. So, like, I know that you didn't sell mine, you left it as sold out, and mine getting tossed back into the queue wouldn't have been enough to trigger the logistics system. They're not going to have the website pop back up and say, hey, there's Scorpios available, and there's one, and then 15 people get their order in, and now they got to tell 14 of them that they lied. So, like, no, that's not how your system works. I literally worked for you guys. And so I told the guy, I said, like, I live an hour from Grapevine. You guys can keep my shipping money. I will pay the full price right now on the phone, and I will drive to Grapevine and I will pick it up. And he's like, that's not really how it works. And so they escalated me up to a manager, and I explained, like, who I worked for and where I worked for there. And he said, there's nothing we can do. But I will overnight your Xbox to you at the price you got it when you pre-ordered it, and you're gonna get just a regular Scorpio edition. There's nothing your regular Xbox. There's nothing we can do. Regular Xbox One X. And then the next day, overnighted, I got my Xbox Scorpio edition. So he fixed it. He really did fix it. I have no idea how, but I guess if you complain long enough and loud enough.
And you know your stuff.
And you know the storage system that they're using.
Yeah.
Like, going back to...
I mean, if you've ever worked in a retail situation and you know these things, you know, it's like you sit here going, well, I know darn good and well that's not how that works.
Go ahead, Sora.
You know?
Like, going back to the Square Enix thing, so I pre-ordered the Final Fantasy VII Deluxe Remake.
Oh, cool.
Right? And shortly after putting my card information and everything in, my card was compromised.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what it was from, but it was like $300 to PlayStation that I didn't authorize. But anyway, I contacted them and they said, oh yeah, that's no problem. We'll flag it. And whenever it goes to take money out, it's going to ask you to change your payment information instead of actually just taking it out or trying to take it out and canceling it. So they have it all flagged and everything for me. And since they pushed it back, that just means that it's not coming out for about another month.
Yeah.
I saw that, like, obviously the Xbox or the multi-release got delayed because of the delay. I was like, no.
Right.
Oh, what about getting out of a Switch? Oh my god.
What about getting hold of a Switch?
Getting hold of a Nintendo Switch on launch day.
Oh man, I'm glad
couldn't
Chris
do
I
that.
heard that was a nightmare.
It was.
I
Brian and
didn't
I
have
were
any
jumping
issues.
site to site to site. It was a mess.
I didn't have any issues.
Oh, there was a lot of issues in other places, but like, I mean, I had to wait like a week before I could get mine, even though I pre-ordered.
I think we ordered ours together, didn't we, Brian? We did it just like FanFest tickets, where we
Yeah.
basically both just camped out multiple
Hey, I'm
websites,
here,
and then
I'm
whichever
on.
of us
All
got
right.
in at the same time.
I'm in. All right.
Yeah.
Ordered.
I think I
Wait,
put.
did you get
I
one,
think I put
Chris?
2 switches on my card, and then Brian paid me
Welcome to
back.
the workforce. Yeah.
Actually, I
Wait,
think
you got
that
a
may have
Switch
been the
too?
first console that was bought for us with work to game money.
Xbox One X was bought to us based off of
Is
work
that
to
the
game money
Xbox?
because I quit Destiny.
Yeah,
I think I remember that video.
that was the first video big enough that it was like, oh my gosh, we can like do a thing.
Like, I remember the day you quit Destiny, if I remember
Yeah.
correct.
It was a hard
It
day,
was
man.
it was our biggest video
Like,
for
I remember
a
you
long
got,
time.
if I remember correctly,
Sorry, you're breaking up.
I said, if I remember correctly, you kind of got really emotional in that video.
I was very upset.
I did see that.
It was really hard actually quitting because it was like I have such a love, but then it's like, okay, I had my limit. Like it's like this is what they like. I can't believe. And I was just like, all right, I them charging people for content that they already had and taking it away. I was like, there is something really corrupt going on, and then I quit. Like I was done, and when and then it was when that they said they left Activision. I was like, okay, what are you talking about? And then they were like, okay, here's what we're doing cross save, we're doing this, and this. And I go, okay, great. So I've enjoyed playing, but the problem I've run into recently is that with having Gabriel, I've just been like, I just felt like I started the season late. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna jump into Dawn, and like I do just mostly put PvP, but then it just got to the point where I was like, I just wasn't able to play.
You don't really have the time with kids.
You don't, and that's where and that's my whole thing that I kind of realized that when I look at their season pass with the resetting progression. The thing I can do as a gamer is I look at it as an endurance marathon versus a sprint. Some content creators and some streamers, they can sprint. They have 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, and they can just play it, and then they're done with the content, and then they go bitch about it because that's the cycle. But then like I could get there like just through enough investment. Like with 14, eventually all my jobs will be capped. It doesn't happen all within the first couple of months. It happens within the first like year and a half before the expansion comes out. There'll be nothing for me to level. And yeah, that's my, like, I can put in that endurance. And with 6.0, my progress doesn't reset. Like it just is there. That's why I was like, why are people spending time in Eureka? They should spend time doing these other things because Eureka is just going to be for glamour. And then they realized that, and then they were upset because they're like, "Oh, I put all this time into it." It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's like I put all this time into Eureka, and now all that gear is crap. Well,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you put your time into. Sooner or later, that gear is going to be crap. You're
about to get relic weapons again.
Right, but it's like, where's my time best spent? And that's as a parent, I just make the choice of where my time is.
I never actually finished a relic quest.
Well, now you can do it on a crafter.
Never.
Crafters will probably be more valuable for a lot longer than battle.
They could carry it expansion to expansion with crafters because it could do something like, instead of just being a stat stick, if they wanted to, I don't know if they'll implement it this way, if they wanted to, they could put things on it like lowers chance to lose materials or something like that. Whereas in battle, if you go do something really good like that, like has a chance to stun an enemy, it's broken for expansions to come. But like you can break crafting.
Are they gonna do relics for crafting?
That's what
next
they said.
patch.
I mean,
it's it was in the last live.
Upgradable crafting.
They showed them off. They look sharp. They look straight out of Oblivion.
My. Like, because I've
Straight
got a
out of
level 80
Oblivion.
black that's now itching to get a fucking relic weapon. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. They said it'll require a substantial amount of time investment, as opposed to the battle one sounded like it won't require as much of an investment. But the battle one will have to start. Now the battle one in 5.3, so in 5.25 we'll get the beginning of our relics. In 5.35 we'll have step 2, and it sounds like the battle's going to move into something Eureka inspired that is specifically not Eureka, and so that's where it'll get its time investment.
I think honestly, if you start on the relics early and you get those tasks done as they release them, it wouldn't be so much of a grind, I suppose.
That's true of all of it. That's true of story. That's how we got in this mess.
Like,
I don't like story, and I never had a problem with the amount of story per patch. But I also started playing in 2.0. Like I didn't start now, where you've got where you've got like 400 hours to catch up, and it's like, oh, you didn't like that? Like, you saw this game trailer and you bought the game, and now it's like, so how do I get to the thing in the trailer? Oh yeah, that's locked behind like multiple months of full-time labor. So
yeah, 5.2 should be good, shouldn't it?
It should. And 5.3 we get our ARR squish. And we'll get
5.3 we get the ARR switch.
Yep. Squish's ARR, which is the only thing holding them up from putting ARR in New Game Plus.
Wait, what are they gonna do with it? What are they exactly doing with it? Like, are they doing it? Did they say?
They're gonna make the experience more streamlined to give a better new player experience. So I imagine they're going to take a bunch of fetching, and they're either going to combine it into one big cutscene, or they're going to take a bunch of fetching out, they're going to sum it up in there, and they're going to make those optional side quests for anybody that wants to go trace that crap down. That way a new player kind of gets the gist of things and gets introduced to all the characters, but doesn't require 184 hours to get out of ARR into Heaven's Word.
Yeah, Sparta says, I think right now that if you do skip like all the cutscenes and stuff, it puts it at 200 hours, which is a little bit more reasonable, but it's definitely a lot of it.
Yeah, but that's 200 hours, and then you've now earned the right to go out into the community and tell them you skip cutscenes, and the community's not always nice to people that say that. Like, I've grown accustomed to being told that my opinion doesn't matter, but like a new player to the game shouldn't have to have that thought.
Right. We shouldn't have to release a guide saying, all right, I don't care how you do it, I just want you to have fun, but if you do it, don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
It's taboo in this community.
Cutscenes. We don't talk about skipping cutscenes.
Just say it was the best thing you've ever experienced, and you'll be fine.
It's hard to describe, really.
Yeah, it's hard to describe.
But what if the
words fail it? Like, words don't do it justice.
I can't even speak to what it meant to me.
But what did they say to you? Well, what was your favorite part in the story?
Oh, if I had to pick one, man. I don't know. It all just went by so fast.
The last battle. Like, wow. I didn't expect it.
Oh god, when you start getting into the details of things, you're like, well, yeah, that was nice. That was amazing.
It's the same thing as like if you go to a party and you don't remember that person's name, you're like, hey, what's up? Have you met my, like, and then you have like your wife or your spouse or whoever.
Oh yeah, and you get out in front of it, you're like, here's my wife Claire. And then just like toss it back to them to introduce themselves. And they're like, I'm Frank, and you're like, yeah, Frank, yeah, this. It's like I definitely knew that.
I did not forget that at all.
Well, usually I remember enough about them, so they're like, yeah, I'm Frank, and I'll be like, yeah, Frank works at this and does this and this, and so it's like, no, I remember things about you. I just like when you introduce yourself to somebody, like the name always comes first, and then you don't have anything to go with it. So like, A, you don't know if you're ever gonna see that person again. So if you're at like a party and you meet 20 people, it's how do you know which 5 names to like really work hard to commit to memory? And B, you don't have anything to like connect it with. So if you would like do a cartwheel and then say I'm Frank, I'd be like, oh, that's Cartwheel Frank. Like, got it. But nobody does that. You shake a hand and it's like, that's not helpful. Like, I shook the last guy's hand.
What's Ethis doing right now, Sparta? He says he loves what Ethis is doing right now.
Anyways, guys, you have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna hop off and head to bed.
Oh, it is that time.
Dude.
It is that
Yeah,
time.
I'm about to call it as well. It's 10 o'clock.
Well, I got to 43, 45, 46, 46, 48, 48. Yep. Home stretch.
I upgraded and I've got I'll probably play some this week. Hopefully.
Yeah. I recorded, I think it's like 8 videos back to back to back today. Well, in theory, the light was good. It's a little cloudier than the previous day, but been using some natural sunlight as my fill light, so I recorded them all in the afternoon.
Sweet. But, I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah, if you guys see a lot of TemTem on the channel, just know like it will end after 8 videos. So if it's not a game that interests you, it will end because that's all the videos I can make on the current content until they add more stuff. And I wanted to get all those videos done and out of the way and shipped before or at least scheduled before we go into 5.2, because I assume I'm going to say what TemTem when 5.2 gets here.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not far off. That's not
on the 16th, I assume I'm like, TemTem who? New phone, who dis?
5.2 is looking pretty, like, well,
I'm
amazing.
I scheduled off the 18th.
I bet.
That way I could play.
I bet Brian and I lose the whole day. We'll stream off and on. We're gonna want to make videos, of course, so we'll be offline for that. And then also for the story portion, we're kind of hit or miss on whether or not we're gonna stream, because those streams always get really mixed response because nobody wants spoilers. And now that I actually care about Shadowbringers lore, I kind of like how personal it is. The only advantage to recording it is like if there's some amazing reaction moment, I'm always like, man, I wish I was recording that. So
it's like
we'll be on the fence.
It's like when you're playing the game and a character dies and you just want to record your reaction to that character dying.
Now they said to anybody planning on playing a lot that week, they said this is a lot of story. So like set that expectation. Really? They said this is a big story patch. So for most players, they said the first day you log in, do not expect to get to anything in the patch except for the story.
You know, okay. Well, I'm gonna get my.
Basing that on average login times.
I'm just gonna get my TemTem to the max levels on my team, and then I'm just gonna like I'm gonna go back into 14 and just like get my item levels up. I really need to.
I'm gonna, I spent a little time in 14 today, and I'm gonna just kind of work on making sure. Like I think my healers and tanks, but I just want to double check. And then
I can't wait. Like 5.2 looks amazing. Like, come on, Ruby weapon. Oh my god.
I'm excited. Yeah. Well, cool guys.
And
well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Sorry we had some shadow issues since we were both playing in the cloud. Hopefully that means they're updating something. Last time I remember an issue like this that Brian and I had, they were rolling out some major server updates and we got like massive hardware increases once we got out the other side. So
who should we raid?
I don't know. It's probably something they had on like their launcher, and Brian and I both probably just clicked past it. It's probably like, hey, we're rolling this out, and it's like, well, I don't know. Just let me on there. Let me go see. How do I boot up the launcher without killing the stream?
All right, is Ethis online?
Oh, we should go see Ethis. What's Ethis up to?
Well, I'm trying to see who's on so I can raid. It's a small raid. But...
Is Ethis online? Yeah.
I just see you. I don't see anybody online. I see this guy that I've been watching speedrun.
Spoofy or Empty Capture Logic.
Yeah, let's go say hi to Spoofy. What's she on? She's got to be coming up on a day 1,000, right?
She's playing on 14.
Wait, isn't Zendry not like
streaming? Is Spoofy on?
But I couldn't see her online.
Is Spoofy at? Is she up to day 1,000 yet?
I don't know.
Oh, there's my get ready for bed. You said MTQ was live?
That's what it was looking like.
I think a lot of people are taking breaks from 14 right now, so I think it's hard to catch people because I think they're prepping for 5.2. And one of the ways you prep is you take rest. You take rest.
You don't want to ban out.
Yeah, Spoofy. Day 1001, I missed it.
Oh no.
1,001 days in a row. Cool.
For what?
Streaming every single day.
Oh man.
Yeah. When we were out at the media tour, she streamed from the hotel lobby not to miss the day. She streams every day.
Oh, by the way, Zendry actually beat the Maximum Titan at Savage.
Cool.
Nice.
Good night, guys. I'm going to go hang out with Spoofy. We'll see you next time.